The Diamond Jubilee of St. John's University School of Law, a 75-year tradition of excellence.
Hello, I'm Joe Bellicosa, Dean of St. John's University School of Law. On behalf of the faculty, administration, and Father Donald Harrington, President of the university, we are proud to present this brief video history of the law school on this occasion celebrating its 75th anniversary.
The law school opened its doors in 1925 in the Terminal Building at the corner of Court and Gerolman Streets in Brooklyn. The building was located directly opposite Borough Hall. One of the members of the first class in 1925 was Jacob Maas.
I met an old friend, and he asked me what am I doing now. I said I'm at City College for about a year, and then he said, what else have you in mind? So he says to me, you know, there's a law school that's opening up, St. John's University. Why don't you follow it through? And I did. The cost of the law school was, I inquired, I think it was $180 a year, $45 every quarter. And at those years, that $45 was very difficult to get together.
Jacob and his classmates were the first graduates in 1928. Their commencement speaker was Chief Judge Benjamin Cardozo of the New York Court of Appeals. His speech, Our Lady of the Common Law, set the tone of professionalism that has become a hallmark of St. John's School of Law. In 1929, the law school relocated to new quarters at 96 Schermerhorn Street in Brooklyn. This was an address that became well known to some 4 decades of law students, including Judge Conrad Duberstein, a member of the class of 1941, and his good friend from the class of 1936, Boris Castellanos.
Boris, welcome home. Welcome home. Good to see you. This is our old school, you know. You wouldn't recognize it. That's the person's room over there. That's where we didn't pay our tuition when they went after us. But come on in. I'm going to take you upstairs and show you around.
For over 4 decades, students sat in these classrooms. They studied in this library. And occasionally, they were called in to see the dean, George W. Matheson. In 1972, the law school said farewell to 96 Schermerhorn and settled into a new building on the Queens campus of St. John's University. In the early 90s, construction was undertaken to enlarge the law school facilities, and in 1994, Finley Hall was dedicated. The hall bears the name of one of the school's principal benefactors, Leon Finley, a 1929 graduate. Shortly thereafter, the generosity of Maxine and Jerome Belson, a 1948 graduate, enabled the school to renovate the original building to make it compatible with the new facility. The renovated building bears the Belsons' name. The Belsons' generosity continues as modernization begins in the law school's moot courtroom. But the law school is not just bricks and mortar. Most importantly, it is people. The law school is part of the greater St. John's University family.
Yeah, the sense of family and the sense of connection, the sense of belonging somewhere.
That really is one of the things that has always been a positive about St. John's, is the family aspect.
St. John's is a very rare institution. I've said this to Father time and time again, that if a St. John's University didn't exist, somebody would have to create it.
The guiding light of the law school family, of course, is the dean, beginning with George W. Matheson in 1925.
Dean Matheson may be said to be a founder of the law school, or surely co-founder of the law school, from 1925, and he served until 1951. He always knew what the purpose was. He had a sense of mission. Father Tinley had a very keen sense of what is the mission of the particular organization. You want to found an organization, what is the purpose? Does it fit within the law school mission? Does it fit within the university mission?
I think the first person that started me thinking like a lawyer was perhaps Harold McNeese. The way he interacted with the students, it was both intimidating and enriching, and at times even warm experience.
He was just a wonderful human being, loved by everyone. had great aspirations for the school.
John Murphy became dean after Harold died. John was an incredibly warm and caring person. He really epitomized the family of St. John's, and that really is one of the things that has always been a positive about St. John's, is the family aspect.
Dean Pat Rowan ascended to the responsibility of the deanship at what I thought was a very crucial time. How you can increase the more geographic appeal of the school beyond the New York borders. And I think the mechanism he chose was the right one, which was to attract a faculty from beyond the New York area, if you will.
Rudy Hassel came to St. John's School of Law with a reputation as a scholar, but as soon as he arrived, he immediately developed a new reputation, and that of a builder. Not only did he supervise the building of Finley Hall from blueprints to the modern facility we have today, but he also built the alumni network.
A critical component of the St. John's Law School family is the faculty, a faculty with a long tradition of dedication, excellence in the classroom, scholarship, and service. Today's faculty looks back with pride on its exemplars of the past, including two icons in particular.
While a corporation has one or more officers or other persons in the state on whom a summons against such corporation may be served.
My grandfather, Charlie Spraccio, was well known as a distinguished law professor at St. John's and for preparing thousands of aspiring attorneys for the bar exam. But Professor Charlie was probably more renowned for his zany and distinguished sense of humor.
First day of law school, Professor Fagan's class. He asked a student a question. The student gave the answer and he screamed, "No!" And he threw the book down.
No matter how fierce he would be in appearance or sound, the fiercer he would be, or the more challenging he would sound, the more that teacher would give you as a backbone.
He was Professor Kingsfield. He was our Professor Kingsfield.
I'm Kevin Coghlan, president of the Student Bar Association, and on behalf of the student body, I'd like to thank the administration, the faculty, and the alumni for their continuing support. Students are at the heart of the law school's mission. In its 75-year history, St. John's University School of Law has afforded a professional career to more than 20,000 young men and women.
And Ogden?
Okay, where's Ogden?
Utah.
Okay.
Federal common law. The thought is that this reduces the
The doors are open without regard to race, color, creed, ethnicity, religion. This is where someone who has the desire, who has the intensity to learn, can come to learn.
St. John's students evolve into alumni, and they serve with distinction in all areas of the legal profession, as partners and associates of law firms, and as entrepreneurs and counsel to the business community. But public service is one area in which St. John's alumni have made a special contribution. The late Ron Brown served as Secretary of Commerce in the Clinton administration. Professor Ed Ray was chairman of the Foreign Claims Settlement Commission in the Kennedy administration, Assistant Secretary of State in the Johnson administration, Chief Judge of the Court of International Trade, and a member of the law school faculty for over half a century. Other alumni who have served in the federal judiciary include Gregory Carman, John Sprizzo, Ray Deary, Joanna Seibert, Conrad Duberstein, and Stephen Gerling. And in the Congress, Representative Tom Manton and Representative Charlie Rangel. At the state level, we've had 4 governors. In New York, Hugh Carey and Mario Cuomo. Alexander Farrelly in the U.S. Virgin Islands, and George Deukmejian in California. The New York State Bench has been well represented by Judges Vito Titone, Joe Bellicosa, and Carmen Saparic, all 3 on the New York Court of Appeals. And on the Appellate Division, St. John's boasts, among others, presiding Justices Guy Mangano, Joseph Sullivan, and Milton Mullen. Historically, St. John's has also been well represented in the state legislature. Among those currently serving, we have Senator John Markey, Assemblyman Clarence Norman, and Senator Mike Balboni. Today, women comprise 45% of the St. John's law student population, but that wasn't always the case. Although in earlier times women at the law school were few in number, they've made remarkable achievements and clearly have enhanced the reputation of the school. Some prominent examples include Cora Walker, attorney at law, Justice Patricia Collins, Kathy Burke, president of the Ohio State Bar Association, Elizabeth DeFeese, dean of Seton Hall Law School, Justice Patricia Satterfield, and mother-daughter judges Pauline Balkin and Ruth Balkin. Cato Baird, Washington editor of the National Review, Justice Mary Werner, Mary Kay Viscoso, partner at Simpson Thacher, Judge Maxine Duberstein, Deborah Kaplan, president of the New York Women's Bar Association, and Sister Elizabeth Hill, president of St. Joseph's College. St. John's University School of Law was founded for the purpose of providing members of the metropolitan community with an opportunity to enter a profession, an opportunity that couldn't be found elsewhere, an opportunity for persons not only to better themselves, but to serve others as attorneys and counselors at law. Cora Walker sums it up perfectly.
It gave me a chance, and that was what I always was grateful for. And I'm grateful to today. It gave me an opportunity that I never dreamed of. Everybody was so wonderful.
I hope you have all enjoyed this presentation of the 75-year history of St. John's University School of Law. Its traditions reflect the principles upon which St. John's University is built and dedicated. They will continue to guide us as we prepare our students to meet the challenges of the future.
I think the reason I wanted to be a lawyer was just from the perceptions that I got in high school. The money was always an issue for me in high school. I was like, yeah, a lot of money, you know, that'd be great. And I wasn't really looking for that. I just knew that it was something that I was interested in, and hopefully I could help people out.
Ever since I was a little kid, I always wanted to work for the NBA or play for the NBA. Hopefully I plan to, when I graduate, to become a sports agent or work for a marketing firm in the sports industry.
I was always interested in art since I was like 3. I was always drawing or whatever, but I guess my senior year of high school mostly, I took one of those elementary graphic design courses in my high school. I like the idea of, I guess, giving a message to someone through art.
One of my professors decided that I would be perfect, since I always wanted to work for the NBA, to get an internship there. So they set up an interview and look at my resume and they see St. John's University. Already, I feel like I have a foot up ahead of the competition, because they know that if you're in New York, you go to St. John's, not only are you getting a good education, but you're getting experience, and you're getting it in one of the best cities in the world. I pretty much ended up having an internship in the NBA.
I love the saying, real learning for real life here. They use it all the time, and I think it's so true. One of my minors is theology, and I think within the first 1 or 2 classes that I took for theology here at St. John's, totally got me to think more about myself and broaden my spectrum of the way that I look at things and see things here at St. John's as well as the world around me.
I don't have a computer that has the art programs that I need. The advantage of coming to St. John's is the accessibility to all the computers that they have here, the computer programs that they have. For me as a graphic designer, that's something that'll definitely put me over the top when it comes to competing with other students who are coming out of colleges who don't have the advantage that I have here. Well, one of the reasons I came to St. John's was, I guess, location. Being an art major, it's in a great location as far as like the art capital of the world. It's great access to the city, to a number of museums. You could go to 2 museums, 3 museums per day. I mean, just the accessibility of them by train is great.
Here I could just get on the train, and all of a sudden I have the NBA league offices, I have the Major League Baseball. Everything is in the city, in the heart of the city. So you can just go and network yourself and learn more. I definitely feel more involved, more connected, and more part of St. John's. I feel that I can actually, whenever I leave my room, there's something to do on campus. I owe it a lot to the residence halls already for making new friends. I mean, I was so accustomed to making commuter friends just because maybe we have the same class or we have to take the same train home. But now we could actually say, my neighbor's from Portugal and my neighbor's from California.
With the residence halls, there are people from like 16 different countries and however many different states. And again, you get to learn their cultures as well as their religions and what they're about. And you kind of, I mean, it's a teach and learn. I mean, you take something from every experience that you get here. I'm
a resident advisor, and it's fun to know that they can come to me for whether it's advice with chemistry or a roll of toilet paper. And I feel like this is just like their neighbor next door. For the first time in my life, I'm actually meeting West Coast students. I've always heard of the California dudes and all these people, but now I'm actually meeting people from Hollywood and meeting people from Los Angeles. I'm also meeting people from international students who have so much to offer. This is Marcio Ferreira, straight from Portugal. Hi. He came to St. John's University because his lifelong dream is to play professional basketball.
Are you ready?
Yeah, let's see what you got, man. And I've learned already so much from him that it intrigues me to go to Portugal and kind of learn more about their culture.
I went to Italy this past summer. It was a St. John's study abroad program, and it was a great experience. I took an art course, design course, and St. John's has helped me gain a global perspective and gain an appreciation of what they have to offer, and I guess influence my own work.
I think that St. John's has a reputation of helping out, being of Ascension University and following the mission of St. Vincent de Paul. It's like they know that you're there to help. Whether it's going to soup kitchens, they just hear the word St. John's and they know that something good's coming along with it.
One of the extracurricular activities here that Campus Ministry offers is the Urban Plunge program. And it was my first Urban Plunge in Kentucky. It's a week-long service project, so we go away to rural area that's poverty-stricken. And the woman's name was Bonnie, and I will never forget, I was kind of teaching her like reading and math. I spent the day with her and literally like taught her timetables. And to see like the light bulb go off for her was like amazing for me, because I know that I made the difference to that one person. The Vincentian value is something that I can definitely take through the rest of my life, as well as pass on to the people that I meet. I would not be the person I am today if I wasn't involved at St. John's. And I mean, so many things have come my way because of the things that I do and the things that I love to do. So I definitely think that it has a tremendous impact on my life.
Coming to St. John's, I definitely now know that when I graduate, I definitely have so many doors open as far as employment goes. Everybody wants a St. John's graduate in their office, and I think that I'm so blessed to have all the experience that I have here in St. John's, that the transition from student to full-time worker, it's definitely going to be a lot easier than I thought it would be.
I guess as far as a career is concerned, there's a feeling that you get when you go out there and you work with people. I guess the smile on their face, or even if they don't say anything, just the feeling that you get when you're helping someone else, whether it's through art, whether it's through handing a sandwich to someone on the street who you've never met before. It's a great feeling.